Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. I am Dorthek, and this is episode 3 in our 0.17 playthrough. In our last episode, we set up power production, we set up science, and we set up the automation of science. We have set up 2 assembly machines, building iron gears, which are necessary to be able to build red science packs, automation science pack. Today, we're going to work on the next phase of automation. We're going to expand our production of all of our raw ingredients. We're going to set up assemblers to make certain things that we need a lot of, and we'll probably expand our power production as well. So right now we're producing everything using burner mining drills and stone furnaces. The stone furnaces are going to stay with us for a while, but we are going to move on from the burner drills as soon as we can. It looks like we have tapped out these 2 locations, so we're going to shift these drills. The resource patches are not infinite. They contain each spot contains a certain amount of stone, and these burner drills only mine the ore that is directly below them, on the 4 squares below them. We're purposefully working around the edges because this is where ore is fairly thin on the ground. You can see there's 4 pieces of ore here, 67 here, whereas in the middle we have 1,000, 1,600, 1,200. And we're doing that because we're going to want those later on when we have more stone production, better drills to do it with. We also would love to get rid of some of these edges, because when we place a mining drill right here, it'll pick up both iron and copper, and that can be a pain in the neck. But we do not have the ability to filter it well with our current setup. So we will work on that later on. Let's come back here and make sure we have raw materials for science. Remember, we are feeding it iron and copper, so let's make sure there's always enough of both. And let's make sure our steam power is always available, and it is. So, instead of burner mining drills, we can also use electric mining drills. Let's build a few and talk about them. The nice thing about electric mining drills is that they are more efficient. In other words, they use electricity, but they produce less pollution than the burner mining drills do. In fact, in general, anything that is burner-based produces more pollution than their electric counterparts. And they also cover a bigger area. As we said, this only mines what is directly under it. The electric drills mine more. But in order to power them, we need to run electricity to it. So we're going to have to go and chop some more trees, because we're going to need to make electric power poles. As I mentioned last time, we're going to need quite a bit of... We're going to need a lot of wood early on and very little later on. Let's see, we have enough to make 40? Great. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So let's let those produce, and we will start running our power out from here and to where we need it later on. Alright, so we're going to be expanding our power out this way, and I just realized that I've placed these labs where we're going to want boilers to go, so we're going to need to shift them. So we're going to pick this up, and we're just going to swing this whole thing around 90 degrees. That'll make it perfectly fine. Well, we can rearrange it a little bit. I did not place it in an optimal fashion, because we want to be well clear of the... We want to be well clear of the boilers. So I think we're going to put this output box here. Yep. And we're going to put the labs right here. That should be fine for a little bit. We do need a power pole to power all that. And another one down here. There we go. Because this one's actually out of place. Okay, now that we have power poles, we can start to run them down to our facilities. So we're going to just click and drag, and remember when we do that, it places them at maximum distance. And we're going to take them over here, and then over here to get to the iron, and over this way to go to the stone. So one of the first things we want to set up to work quicker is stone furnaces. We're going to need quite a few of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to produce one more assembler, and we already have some drills, and we're going to place them into the, like so. Now remember, the drills automatically spit things out. We don't need a we don't need inserters for them, and we can set this to make stone furnaces, and it will just fill this and build stone furnaces, and I believe the most it can store of them is 50, maybe 20, and that's perfectly fine. We don't need hundreds of them, but we need some. We would also like to expand our iron and copper production, and what we really want to do is roughly double that. So let us produce, we have a few more of these guys. We're going to place them here. Oh, that's just a ghost. Let's pick up a couple that it's finished. It's already made 19. And one of the nice things about electric mining drills versus the burner ones is not only do they have a bigger footprint, so they mine, so they're 3x3 rather than 2x2, but they actually mine another whole row around them. You can see there's kind of a gray area on the map when I mouse down. And that's quite nice. And we finished that research. Let's get Steel Axe. Steel Axe increases our personal mining speed, and while we don't intend to do a lot of hand mining anymore, it also increases the speed with which we can pick things up off the ground, which is very nice. And let's build some more assembly machines, because we're definitely going to want more of those, and some more electric mining drills. So, one of the things we really want to automate is belts. We're going to use a lot of belts, and as you can see, belts require iron plate and iron gear wheel. Well, we've built something similar before, so we're going to use exactly the same setup once we have the assembly machines made. While that's producing, let's talk about radars. We built a few of those last time, and we discussed before that we have this inner and outer area on our map. The outer area we cannot zoom into. The inner area where we personally are, we can zoom in. Radars affect this in two ways. First of all, when we place a radar, and let's place one right here. Yeah, this is a good spot for it. First of all, it creates its own inner area around it. So if we move away from the radar and bring our map up, we can... we're not far enough away yet. Let's move further. We can see that our inner area is now larger. We can zoom in over here because we're here, but we can also zoom in back here because it's within range of that radar. And that's very handy. We generally want our entire base covered by radar so we can zoom in on any part of it at any time. The second thing that the radar does for us is it actually expands our outer area. As you can see, before the outer area was a perfect square, but now we have this block uncovered. That was done by the radar. Each radar scans one of these little blocks at a time around the outside and slowly expands what we can see. So we're going to take a second radar, place it over here, And that should give us coverage of the rest of our base at all times. And it should clear this area twice as fast. Now, the downside of radar is that it attracts biters. Biters love radar, don't know why, but it's something that has a tendency to cause them to attack the area around where the radar. Yep, it looks like 50 is what we can store in here. Great, that's gonna last us for quite a while. So, we're going to replace some of these electric mining, of these burner mining drills with electric mining drills, because they're better, and because we are going to do other things with the burner miners, and we don't need to waste coal. Oh, I'm too far away. On them. So and one of the nice things about the electric mining drills is if we have power poles like this, it still mines this gap between them. That's very important. Okay, and now that we have all these extra mining drills, we're going to put them over here to help us mine more coal, because we don't really we don't want to have to continuously refill all of those drills down there, but we don't mind the burner drills up here because the coal is self-refilling. So that's not too bad. Alright, how are we doing on power over here? On coal? We should definitely replace the coal. Ah, right, of course, because we've set up our mining drills. And if we look at our electric consumption, remember before, with just the two labs, we were burning like 120 kilowatts. Now we're producing 1.7 megawatts of electricity, which we're consuming rather 1.7 megawatts, which is still plenty. Our production is only at maybe 40% capacity. And if we look at the consumption graph, we can see that the biggest consumer is the mining drills, and radars also actually consume quite a bit of electricity. Well, we kind of need them, so that's okay. But what it means is we're going to need to start expanding that quite soon. Meanwhile, let us build some belts. So this will produce iron gears, and this will produce transport belts. And at this point, we can switch from wooden chests to iron chests. We're making enough iron chest we're producing enough iron that it is perfectly fine to just use wasn't perfect placement, that's okay. That is perfectly fine to use those. And this will need a bunch of steel, and that's gonna produce iron plates, and that's gonna produce... oh, and we need a box here. And what we're going to now do is we're going to limit the box, because we don't want to completely fill this with belts. So if we click on this X, we can drag this little red area and limit how many slots are going to fill. Transport belts stack in fairly large stacks, so 3 stacks is going to be more than enough. And we will just let that run for a little bit and make sure that we get that organized. The next thing we really would like to automate is inserters, because again, we make a lot of them. But inserters are a little more complicated. They require iron plates, iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits. Well, we've done iron gears before, but what about electronic circuits? That requires iron plate and copper cable. So this is a much more complicated recipe. Do we have enough? Yes, we do. So I'm going to put these guys somewhere in the toolbar. I don't have a particular place where I like them, but that'll do. So what we're going to do is we're going to produce copper cable, which will feed into electronic circuits. So this will make copper cable, it needs copper. This will produce electronic circuits, which needs iron and copper. And then this will produce inserters. Oh, and this will produce inserters. Yes, that's how we're going to do it. And this will produce iron gears. Now we gotta feed all of that, so we will place... where's our inserters? Oh, we're out of inserters. Let's make a few. We can't make more because we need more steel. Right, we dropped all our steel over there. Not a big deal. Five, 10 inserters. That should do us for a bit. And how are we doing down here? We don't really need much more in the way of stone, but we can still refuel that one. Our inventory, as you can see, is starting to fill up, and that's great. Let's go back up here and feed the power plants. Oh, we are out of power. That's of coal on the power plants. That's very bad. That's very, very bad. So, that's a excellent opportunity for us to talk about what to do with our power. Yeah, you can see that the transport belts go in stacks of 100, so by limiting it to 3 slots, we're limiting it to 300, which should be fine for the moment. Let's take those belts, and let's build some more electric mining drills. 5, 10, that should do. Okay. So, what we would like is we would like to eventually have 10 of these blocks. Now, we're not going to build all of them, but this is an excellent time for us to talk about blueprints and how to use them. Blueprints are controlled by some of these buttons, and the easiest way to use it is, and this is new in Factorio 17, is if we hit Control-C, we can select a block of things, and then we can paste it. Now, we don't want this underflow pipe, so we're going to just grab this, and we're going to place it here, and when we click, we place a ghost image. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's not placing because we're overlapping. We can hold shift to place it anyway. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So really we placed these in bad locations. Let's pick them up and swing them around. We're gonna place them down here. This is inserters, and this is iron gears. Okay. So I actually just realized I did not quite put things the way I want, but that's okay. We'll put the inserters right here because we're going to use a lot of them. So we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. This needs steel. No. Like that. So this needs copper. Both of these need iron. And then this one also needs iron. So if we place some iron right here, some copper right here, and some more iron right there, and we need an output, of course. One more box. That'll work. Alright, steel axe is done. Let's start working... heavy armor. That's another good one. Although we will need steel before we can make it, but that's fine. Alright. We've built some electric mining drills. So we're going to use them to get some better coal supply for this. This is going to be in the way. We're going to have to move this whole array here, unfortunately. Okay, let's do that. So let's try that again. This will be here. And here. This can go right here. And we're just recreating that same array we did before, just a little bit out of the way. This is going to be red science packs, and this is going to be iron gears. And we need to provide electricity to all of this. And this needs steel and copper. And we need more steel. More iron. I keep saying steel. We don't actually have steel. We have copper. We have copper and iron. Steel is later. So as you can see, though, we are constantly running low on iron at this stage. Oh, and we forgot to feed the power plant, which is why we're getting the little blinky icons. That's really bad. It's not terrible right now. It can be terrible if we were under attack or anything close to being under attack. So that makes me think it's time to make that better. Which means we also want to make a couple of burner inserters, too. Alright, so this has been our low level of coal production. Now it's time to make it more organized. So we're going to take these drills, these electric mining drills, and we want to kind of find the edge of the coal. Unfortunately, it's dark right now, so it's hard to see. And it looks like the coal patch starts about here. And we're going to run a whole row of them as long as we can. This one won't place because there's no coal there. And of course, we've got to power them. So we will... Can we reach there? No. Can we reach there? Yes. So we will click drag that, and that gets us a whole row of them. And now we're going to take these transport belts, and I like to keep transport belts on my #1 button. And the transport belts move stuff. We can rotate which way it's pointing. We want to run it up. We're going to start it right up here and run it all the way up. And what's happening is the drills now place things onto the belt. You'll notice they're only putting them on half of the belt, the nearer side. That's the way the drills operate. They place it on one side. What we can do is we can place another row of drills on the other side. That's all the drills we have, but that's okay. We need to power them. And these are now putting it on this side. So, now that we have done that, we can take this belt of coal and we can run it to our boilers. Now, we can either run it from the right to the left or from the left to the right, and I think I want to run it this way, because that's going to make our life easier later on. And we can rotate and make turns. We're going to run past the edge of where our array was, and that's why I wanted to have the whole array. And then we're going to run it here one space away from the array. And and we're out, but that's okay. There's more right there. And we're out again. And we're out of iron in this box. Let's put a couple of stacks of iron in there, because we really want just a couple more of these. Really just one more will do. And now we can take those burner inserters that we came up with and place them right there. Now the reason we want burner inserters is because the burner inserters don't require electricity to start. They're less efficient than the electric ones. They use more energy per swing. But if for some reason our power goes down because, say, we ran out of coal or we accidentally disrupted the coal line, and then we fix the coal line, those inserters will come back up without needing electricity first. Now the rest of these we will use regular inserters for, but for the moment, for at least two of these, I like having the burner inserters just to make sure that we can restart in an emergency. Speaking of which, how does our power look? We're at about half power, so it's probably we should expand this a little, our power production a little bit. Let's make 2 more boilers, 2, 3, 4 more of these, and we're going to need a piece of pipe. We have some pipe right there. Excellent. Alright, what were we working on just now? We were working on expanding all our productions. That's a lot of coal. We probably don't need a whole lot of coal for a while. Feed them. Do we have any more mining drills? No, let's make a few more mining drills. Electric ones. And we were automating... yes, we were automating this. Again, we want to limit this. We don't want it to just keep producing infinite amounts. I mean, it won't, because it's going to be limited by how much materials we have in these chests. But still, we don't want to run away with it. Excellent. And now we can see that the coal belt is full, and it's consuming, and you'll notice that the coal belt is backing up, right? We're mining faster than we can use it. And that's good. If it was not backing up, it would mean that we're not mining fast enough. We want to produce the coal faster than these things consume it. So, now that we've built that, let's build a few more of these. And we need one more power pole right there. And now to connect this over here, we're going to need a piece of pipe. And that's usually the last thing I put in because you can't walk through pipe. So right now there's no way for me to get through here. Oh, I put this guy in the wrong spot. It should go right there. There we go. Right, so there's no good access except from the back, and that's kind of a pain. So I want to be able to get in there first. And the reason we need this pipe is because we have to leave a space for the power poles to go in there. Otherwise, if we stacked them right next to each other, we wouldn't be able to get power from the inner steam engines. And we're going to place a couple of regular inserters right here. And we need to power them. I put them in the wrong spot. I put this in the wrong spot. This should go here. Okay, I forgot when I was building this array. This row should go here, because that way it can power our inserters if we put the inserters right here. And that way we don't need to use extra power poles, which means that these are also in the wrong spot. They should be right here. Oh well, it happens. We want them right here. And it doesn't matter that much, but you know, I like to keep this organized. This way they all interconnect, and that's nice. And we finished our heavy armor, so let's improve our weapons. So we have physical weapon shooting speed, and physical projectile damage, we want to start with damage. Damage is more important than speed, in my opinion. Okay, so now we have twice as much power being generated, and again, we're producing quite more than we need, and that's good. And there's no waste here, because if we don't have enough demand, then it just won't run. Alright. I don't think we need any more coal. Let's go get some more of our iron. I'd like some more iron production. We have 6. My goal really is 8 iron and 4 copper for this phase of the game. So let's put another one of these here and here. Do I have more of these? I do. There we go. As you can see, we have quite a lot of demand on iron. In fact, I'm going to take copper and just kind of tuck it in the corner here. It's not going to stay there permanently, because later on we're never just going to hand deliver copper to things, but for now, it's worth having. Okay. So, we are making inserters, we're making belts, that is good. Oh, we've run out of iron in here. Let's throw some more iron in there. We need more iron in there. That's okay. That's okay. Ah, we've maxed it out. Perfect. Let's take 1 stack. And from here, we definitely want some. Well, let's take all of this. Alright. We automated belts, we automated inserters, we automated stone furnaces. I would also like to automate making assemblers themselves. So for assemblers, we need electronic circuits. Well, we've got that figured out. Iron gear wheels, we've got that figured out. And really, it's the same exact recipe as inserters. So what we can do is we can Control-C this, all of this, and let's put it right here, let's say. And now we can use that as our guide. So if I click that, because I had the blueprint there, it automatically inserted the correct recipe, which is nice for everything except this one here. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. I want that right there. Oh, I need some more iron chests. While that's producing, let's get our these guys in place, chests in place. That's everything, and we're just gonna open this. We're gonna click this kind of rewind button to clear the recipe, and we're gonna set it to producing assembly machines. This needs iron, this needs iron, this needs copper. Oh, and I don't think we placed that one. Nope, that was still a ghost, and this one's still a ghost. Alright, let's go get more iron, because once again, we're out. Okay. Oh, we didn't place this one here. That's unfortunate. Are we producing? We're waiting on the iron gears. Now, one thing to note is that if you look at the recipe, this recipe for the assembly machine only takes half a second to run, but it needs 9 iron plates, 5 iron gear wheels, and 3 electronic circuits. We're not delivering all of that to this machine in half a second. we're also not doing what's called building to ratio. We're not making sure that we have 9 iron plates for every 5 gear wheels for every 3 green circuits available to it. And that's perfectly fine. We don't need it to be super efficient at this stage. We just need it making some stuff. Okay, so we've this pretty much concludes this current phase of our build. We have accomplished quite a bit. We've got we've automated the production of several key ingredients necessary to build our factory. These are the things that we're going to use to build our next stage. A lot of belts, a lot of inserters, a lot of assemblers. We're going to need a lot of other things too, but those are by far the most important. We've also automated coal production for the power plant, and we've doubled our power capacity. Even with all these other assemblers in place, we're running at maybe a quarter capacity, so we have room to grow, and we can always insert more of these. We'll probably end up with 3 or 4 of these arrays before we're ready to move on to solar or nuclear power, but this one array will last us for quite a while. So this is pretty much the end of the third phase of Factorio. If you remember, the first phase was just running around doing everything, building everything by hand. I'm sorry, this is the end of the second phase. The second phase is these kind of separate little groups of assemblers to produce certain specific things. Science, belts, inserters, etc. Our next phase is going to be to build what's called a jump-off base, which is a starter base that will produce a lot more, it will accomplish a lot more, and will be used to build our main base that's going to last us all the way through rocket launch and beyond. I think we will probably build it right here, and we will do that in the next episode. In the meantime, try one yourselves, and as always, don't forget to save.